business first, I'd like to welcome our members and our guests to the Global Entrepreneurs Toastmasters Club. And first, if our guest could stand and introduce himself and let us know who he is, where he's from, and how you found us.
My name is Joe, and I just find this Toastmaster from the internet, and I just try to come here and see why is interesting for this Toastmaster.
Okay. Well, welcome, Joe. Thank you for coming. Well, my name is Peter Doses. I'm president for this term of the Toastmasters, this Toastmasters Club. We've been here since October of last year, October of 2011. Just recently, we completed our Toastmasters year, which runs from July 1st to June 30th. And last year, we became a President's Distinguished Club by the dint of many of our members completing various educational requirements and also from our membership. So it was a very good year last year. Looking forward to continuing that run, and the more new people that we can bring in and help them improve, the better we'll be as a group. So what I'd like to do first is call on our invocation, and since Lorena is not here, if I could ask Michael, if you could please lead us in a brief invocation.
Sure.
If everybody could rise. Thank you, Michael.
Dear Father, thank you for giving us the opportunity to gather here, and please bless us with the opportunity to learn from this meeting today and share from our experiences together. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you. Amen. Please remain standing, and I'd ask Eric Wong if you could please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, face the flag, put your right hand over your heart. Ready?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Eric. So getting right to business today, I wanted to introduce to you our Toastmaster of the day. And this gentleman just completed his Competent Communicator in about 4 months and finished it with a, how would you call it, a quick raft of speech making at the end of June that was not only inspiring to watch, but the stories themselves were very interesting, very varied, and it's been interesting and gratifying to watch his speech talents increase and his public speaking talents increase. So I'd like to introduce to you the one of our newer members of our club, and soon to be representing the GET Club at the University of Chicago's Graduate School of Management, one of the world's best, Mr. Michael Tam. Thank you, Michael.
Great. All right. It's my first time as Toastmaster, so you'll bear with me if I make any stumbles along the way. So I guess my first task is to have Mr. Jesse Alvarado, if you could introduce the mission statement.
Yes. Okay, the mission of the Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every individual member has the opportunity to develop oral communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth.
Thank you, Jesse. Beatrice, if you could explain the outcome.
Okay, this is my second time for the AHA counter, and what I understood is every time you make a pause, or is it a pause, or maybe just an ah word, or a and but and so, and if you repeat yourself, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, thank you, Beatrice. Do we have a new grammarian?
Yes, I'll fill in for that for you. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Role of the grammarian is to pick a word of the day to be used during table topics, which is the impromptu speaking portion of our meeting, and also to kind of monitor usage and grammar throughout the meeting, note words that are used that are very interesting, or also note if people are using, similar to what Beatrice is doing, using filler words or falling back on more, you might want to call mundane grammar. But today, specifically, the word of the day to be used during table topics is janky. Now, janky is a somewhat slang word, but it is,
It means bad.
I am finding it, what's that?
It means bad, right?
It means bad. It means if, you know, your girlfriend calls and says, we can't go out tonight, I'm looking kind of janky, then that's probably not a good night to go out. So janky is it's more of an adjective used by the younger generation, and it was introduced to me by the young lady in the corner there, our second guest, Miss Nevada Nieva. And it means messed up or disheveled. It can also mean bad or unclean or inferior or low standard of quality, a low standard or low standard of quality. And the usage is, I'm sorry that my room is so janky. So what we want to do is when we do table topics today, we want to incorporate the word janky into our answers, regardless of how strange or interesting it might sound, so that we can keep up with that younger generation and that rather indecipherable slang that they occasionally use. Thank you.
Okay. I'm sorry that my dress is too janky. It's Toastmasters. I didn't realize I was Toastmasters today, so apologize. It's hot. So, okay, Mr. Scott Janakuchi, timer, please.
So with the timer support, the purpose of time is for a lot of us who are speaking to speak within a certain amount of time. So if it's too short, a lot of times you may not even need to get the whole message. If it's too long, a lot of audience members might be kind of being bored or kind of lost where you are. So it's to keep within a certain time frame within your speech. So for today's speech, I guess we have one speech today. It's going to be allotted for 5 to 7 minutes. So at a lot of time when it's
Oh, but I believe the icebreaker will be 4 to 6 minutes today.
okay, 4 to 6 minutes. Okay, the icebreaker today is 46 minutes. So at 4 minutes, it'll be turned to green, and green meaning that it's qualified for time. At 5 minutes, right? It's at it will be at yellow. At 6 minutes, it'll be at red, and you have 30 seconds to wrap up. So as long as within 6 minutes and 30 seconds, then you'll be qualified for your speech. For icebreakers, they qualify for 1 minute. Table topics. Okay, table topics 1 minute, 1/2 minutes for yellow, and then red will be 2 minutes, and you have 30 seconds to wrap up. And for evaluations for today will be 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. So 2 minutes will be green, 2.5 minutes will be yellow, and 3 minutes will be red. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. And, our vote counter for today will be.
We have a volunteer for
Any volunteers for vote counter?
or assign a volunteer.
I'm good.
Okay, don't.
So I'm going to speak collecting your votes by using the ballot that you have in front of you. You can select the best evaluator and also the best table topics for today. I will collect them and then we'll give a count at the end and select the winner.
Okay. Okay, so today we will have one speaker, Mr. Eric Wong, and his evaluator will be Mr. Elmer Tenozo. If Mr. Elmer can please introduce his speech for today.
And then we'll also have a second develop. We'll do a second evaluation on the speech.
Okay, so 2 evaluations.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I have the honor of evaluating Eric Wong for his project number 1 on the Competent Communication Manual, the Icebreaker speech. And his objectives, do I have to proceed now?
Yes, please.
Okay, his objectives are to begin speaking before an audience, to discover speaking skills you already have and skills that need some attention. You'll be speaking for 4 to 6 minutes. And the title of the speech is?
My high school career, high school experience.
My high school experience. That would be an interesting topic. So, let's introduce our speaker number 1.
Great. Well, without further ado, Mr. Eric Wong, if you please come up and.
I'll have to introduce myself, right? Okay, sorry.
First time. Okay. If I talk to you about high school, the first things that would probably come up are, of course, like being popular, well, like fitting in, playing football, because that's a popular thing to do, and of course, having lots of girlfriends. I'd like to say that my high school career was a lot more interesting than just being the typical popular person. With respect to that, I guess you could say it's a little more janky compared to the norm. But I'd like to talk about my high school career to start off. I'd like to, first to start off, I was part of the nerd herd. In other words, I was really kind of nerdy, and that kind of set me apart from the popular kids who play football and everything. But I was okay with that. Like, my friends and I, we were all kind of like in the AP classes, in the honors classes, and it was great. We didn't have a bad time, we had a great time. I'd like to say that I passed 9 out of my 10 AP classes, so I'm really proud of that, and I'm going to UC Berkeley next year. Yep. Okay, another part of my high school career that I felt was really interesting was that I ran cross country all 4 of my years. Like, without cross country, I wouldn't have met the friends or learned the determination and gain the strength, like, to push through cross country and push through high school. And running, for me, was probably the greatest part of my high school career. And I honestly have a competitive nature. That's one of my key aspects to myself. Like, actually last night I played pool with Peter, and like I was like so glad to beat him finally in a pool game. And I always play a bunch of sports like cross country already, frisbee, ultimate frisbee, basketball, you name it. Just like any sports, even video games. I'm so competitive with everybody. And I have to say a big thank you to my parents, because without them, like, cross country wouldn't have been the same. They came out to every single race and really made it how great it was. The last thing I want to talk about for my high school career is my girlfriend. I said earlier, like, you would want to typically have like a lot of girlfriends, be popular with the ladies, and for me, I've had the same girlfriend since 8th grade. She was my high school sweetheart, and I'm really happy that she was there for me like all those years. If it weren't for her, I probably would have not cried, but I probably would have been a little worse off. Thanks to her, like she's a lot like me. She's like really into her classes, and she's just a really amazing person. And unfortunately, we're not going to the same colleges next year, so it will be a lot different without having her right there to talk to about any problems, or like even just going about classes, you know. But I'm really glad that we've been together all 4 of our high school years, and I hope that we will still be together in college. So overall, I'd like to say that college was truly an amazing experience, high school was truly an amazing experience for me. It was not the typical college or high school experience, but like, even though it wasn't the norm or the normal with the popular and football and like a whole bunch of girls, I really had a great time in high school, and I know now that it's over and there are a lot of new steps ahead, but I'm really confident that my time at Berkeley will be great. Thank you.
Great. Well, that's a very insightful and mature perspective on high school and your experience there. So I think the next step is the Toastmaster will call, and myself will call for the timer's report. Mr. Scott?
Yeah, so the timer's report for Eric Wong. His speech was 4 minutes and 27 seconds, so he did qualify for time.
Great. And I think we'll skip over the vote for best speaker because we all know that he is the best speaker for today. So today I think we'll introduce the Table Topics Master, Ms. July12.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. Table topic. Table topic is one of my favorite ones. It was the first time that I answered that I get a ribbon. I said, yeah, I'm going home with a ribbon. Okay. Whoever's going to use, remember use the word janky. And you will, definitely, will get your ribbon unless you speak 1 minute minimum and 2 minutes maximum. You ready? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, give yourself a round of applause. Question number 1. Is it more fun to be a parent or a child? Elmer?
Thank you, Madam Table Topic Master. Hopefully my answer will be as janky as you would expect me to be. Is it better to be a parent or to be a child? Obviously, to be a child. First of all, as a parent, you have a lot of responsibilities, right? You have to raise your child from the day they came out of the mother's womb to the day they finish college. It's your responsibility. As a child, you're carefree. You can do anything you want. You can ask your parents what you need, ask money, and you can buy anything you want. Whereas parents, you have to work, you have to support this child, you have to spend a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars to finish college. And what's fun of being a parent? Being a child, you go anywhere, you go to places where you want to be. Of course, with the consent of your parent. You can't go anywhere without, especially if you're a minor, you have to have your parents' consent. But as a parent myself, I mean, I have a child, and seeing my child is also a joy for me, because this, the moment he was born, he gave me direction in my life. Because all this time, I'm focused about him, and his future, and his well-being.
Good job, good job. Okay, you ready for the next one? So we can, anyone here, guests or members, we can call them. Okay, get ready. Next question. Okay. What was your strangest date ever? Nivea. Okay.
Hey, strangest date. More like worst date. Well, let's see. I was crying my eyes out waiting for this guy to pick me up. He doesn't even have a cell phone and I can't get hold of him. And I'm contacting his friends, going on Facebook, Tumblr, trying to see where he's at. And I see a picture of this girl and I look in the back. Hey, that's his room. So I call her, or more like I contacted her on Facebook, asking her, hey, where's Andrew? Or is Andrew with you? And she said, yeah, he's at the police station. Police station? What on earth is he doing at the police station? And so she gave me his mom's number and I tried calling him, but didn't answer. And then I'd say about 2 minutes later, he calls back. And he tells me that he's at the police station trying to report where his cell phone was at. And I'm thinking to myself, we're about to be on a date. Where is this guy? He goes to the police station instead of coming to see me. And so it gets worse. We're on our way to a date at Sadie's, and he's not there yet. He doesn't come to dinner. He doesn't come to meet me or my family. I come to meet him at the place. And at the end, he doesn't drop me off home. He goes home so he can see his friends.
That is awesome. First timers, you guys. Okay. Now, we have two more, one more. Two more. Okay, this is exciting. Ready? Okay, which is more important, intelligence or common sense? Joe?
All
right. Joe, right?
How many minutes I talk?
1 minute to 2 minutes.
Okay.
You want to choose it?
Okay.
All right.
That's me. I think I will try best, even though I did not prepare anything. In my opinion, I think common sense is more important than like intelligence, because even though you have a great intelligence, if you like you can like study fast, you can know anything, but if anything so fast, but something you need to do, something you need to know, some basic common sense. If you did not care about common sense, you might like not be successful for the simple work, even though you are intelligent. Also, I think the common sense, if you know the common sense, is very, very good, because even though people who not smart, if they know every common sense, they know everything. I think they just follow the common sense, and they can do they still can do the better job. I think that's it.
We have time for one more?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Ready? Get ready. Get ready. I'm excited. All right. What would be one good thing about being the opposite sex? Okay. One more. What would be one good thing about being the opposite sex? Being a woman or a man? Beatrice? Oh.
That's an easy one.
Wow, I would really want this to happen because of my profession. Because when I went out as a lady, to so many churches trying to fit in as a pastor, I was let down. So they wanted me to be a man. So it came to an occasion where I thought, oh, should I go and change my paths? so that's how they're going to, let me in. So I think that was a very tricky question. And then you ask me, so all the more it fits me, because, but on the contrary, I'm so happy for who I am, because somehow it paid off, and with the help of, whatever drove me to be a pastor has helped me in, being who I am and not having any regrets or not having want to change my paths. So I think I'm really happy as to who I am. And thanks for this awesome question. And maybe if I would change my paths, I would turn out to be, is that right?
Wow, all right. Okay, let's go now and find out who's going to be the winner. Let's call for timer and grammarian report.
For the timer's report, we have Elmer for 1 minute 28 seconds, so you get qualified for time. Nivea for 1 minute 33 seconds, so she also qualified for time. Joe for 1 minute and 5 seconds, so you qualified for time. And Beatrice as well, 1 minute and 1 second, just on the dot.
Okay, good job. And grammarian report, who used the word Yankee?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Elmer did use the word properly. Nevaeh unfortunately did not use the word, nor did Joe. Beatrice, I would probably say the usage wasn't proper because you want to have it incorporated into your talk.
Oh, okay.
So when you see the word of the day, and what I'll do is as I'm walking up, I'll glance at it and kind of think, okay, as I'm thinking about my answer, how can I get this word in there? So that way you're not just at the end pointing to it. So I would say that in this instance, it probably wasn't proper usage, but in the future, just incorporate it into your talk, and then that way you'll have it, you'll make sure you're qualified for it. So therefore, for word of the day, Elmer was the only recipient or respondent that qualified.
All right, so let's give him a round of applause. Congratulations. Now I would like to return now control to our Toastmaster, Mike.
Great. That was a good toast table topics session. So I think next we'll introduce the general evaluator. But Mr. Bobby Conseco is not here. Who?
I can fill
Okay.
in for
So
Bobby.
we'll have Peter as our general evaluator for today.
Thank you, Michael. All right. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. And with our speech today, the general evaluator, at the conclusion of the speech evaluations, I'll give a general evaluation of our meeting and also call on our counter at that time. But first, I want to call up our two evaluators, our speech evaluators for Eric's speech today. And our two evaluators will be Elmer Donoso and Adolfo Morataya. And if I could ask our Sergeant of Arms, Mr. Jesse, to escort Adolfo out, so that way, Eric can get two unique evaluations, and each evaluation will be based upon what that individual heard, and it's not going to be affected by the evaluation of the first one. So this way, Eric, you get feedback from two different people about your speech, and it's a very useful tool. So first I'd like to call up Mr. Elmer Donoso to give the evaluation for Eric's speech number 1, icebreaker speech, my high school career. So please welcome Mr. Elmer Donoso.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. They say that high school life is always the best part of one's life. I myself consider my high school experience as the best among the experiences that I have, because during high school you learn a lot. They said that when you're in high school you learn to know about the birds and the bees, sort of. Hope and thank God Eric didn't tell us his experience on how he learned about the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees. But he dealt with one aspect of his life, which is mostly on the good part of high school, of being in high school. He let us speak about he let us take a look of his high school life. He said that he chose to not be popular with having a lot of girlfriends, but instead go to the other way, which is the nerdy type, taking the AP classes and being an honor student, which is very commendable. I wish my son could do that too. The moment he stood in front of us to deliver his first speech, he was a little bit shaken at first. You know, we can sense his nervousness. He was a little fidgeting. I don't know if you're conscious about it, you've been coughing on your side. It could be a mannerism, or unconsciously you're not aware that you're doing that. And also I would see some stomping of feet here under. You would do that some of the time, maybe unconsciously again, because you are speaking in front of people or being nervous. But later on you were able to get your bearing, and now you started to tell us your experiences when you were in high school. You're part of the cross-country team, I believe, and you even talk about your girlfriend. How many of you here can talk about your girlfriend in front of your mom? Right? I mean, it's very seldom. It's very seldom to happen. I don't think my son would be able to talk about his girlfriend in front of us. Not unless it's really the serious girlfriend that you want to marry someday. Maybe so, Yoli. All right. Strong points for Eric. He did show a little confidence while up here. I mean, being for the first time talking in front of us. There's a little. I can sense a little confidence in him. His voice projection is very good. Everybody can hear him in this room, and he has a very good eye contact. I would like to see Eric more moving around the stage, use the stage more, do some pausing. If you have some humor in your speech, after your humor, after saying that humorous aspect of the speech, you can pause a little bit so we can really think about that and grasp it and digest it. I would like also to say a strong conclusion. What do you expect on college? What do you expect in UC Berkeley? Other than that, you did a good job, and I would like to congratulate you. I'm pretty sure Vio is proud of you. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Jesse, if you could please get Adolfo. Thank you for that very incisive evaluation. And now our second evaluation of Eric's speech today will be our incoming VP of Education, Mr. Adolfo Mortaya.
Thank you, Mr. Evaluator. Good afternoon, fellow ToastMasters members and guests. I'm going to be doing the evaluation of our new member and his icebreaker speech, Eric Wong. I would say I like his speech, because when you speak from the heart, you look very natural. And when you speak with the energy, even though at the beginning was a little with the energy, still though you spoke clearly with a good voice, tone of voice, and we could hear you very well. And that sounded great. I like that part. I also like the energy, and when usually the experience, the icebreaker, because it's from experiences, it helps you initiate a speech, because people listen to somebody that speaks from the heart. And that is a positive. I would say about the content was well organized. I think you organized your speech very well. And I think it was effective. It has some very logic and relevant ideas that you wanted to communicate, and I think you did communicate them. I would say about the actual delivery, I would improve in some areas as the posture, or as being natural in your delivery. When you look at people and when you do gestures, it's good to relax about it. Usually the trick is to put your hands on the side and to speak, as if you were just in a mirror. It's very hard to do at the beginning. There is some conflict there, to do that. But that's what we're here for, and that's why we need this to do it again and again and again. Also, the language, I would like to mention that I like your grammar, but I would, because there were no grammar errors there, but I will improve in the vocabulary, using more words, more different words. That would be, I think, because you had a lot of good experiences to tell us about your high school, and many words can be used there, just junky words. You can use more interesting words that describe more what you went through, like we all go through. And the experience of high school becomes real for everyone. So when you talk about something like that, we forget that when we relate and when we talk, everybody gets affected with that. Everybody remembers, and it becomes powerful when you talk about it. So I did enjoy your speech. I would improve, like I mentioned, on the vocabulary. I would improve also in relaxing a little more, Don't think there are so many people. One trick I did myself in a couple of occasions when I get a little nervous is I think like everybody is either bald, no hair, right? And I mind everybody like that. And it kind of relaxes me. And I used to think that, and also another thing I would think that everybody was like babies in clothes, or baby clothes, And so those are tricks that you do, and they work. They can help you a lot. So thank you for your speech, Eric. We really enjoy it very much.
Thank you, Adolfo. Well done. 2 good evaluations. If I could have the timers report, Scott, on the 2 evaluators for today.
Yes, for Elmer, it was 3 minutes and 22 seconds. Adolfo was 3 minutes and 8 seconds, and both qualified for a tie.
Okay, so we actually do have a vote today then. We would ask that we vote for best evaluator, please. Use the ballots in front of you to Choose between Elmer and Adolfo for who you believe gave the best evaluation for Eric Wong's icebreaker speech.
Right.
And also, you can utilize that ballot if you want to jot down a few notes to Eric about your own feedback about what you saw. Maybe put down something you like and something you'd like to see him improve on. You can also utilize that ballot as well to jot down a quick note to Eric and say, here's what I really liked about your speech, here's what I'd like to see you improve on, and that way it gives him even more feedback to improve in the future. And at this time, if I may call upon Beatrice for our odd counters report for the meeting today.
Let's see, did I do my job okay? Okay, as far as Eric, you had, I think, 3 and you're coughing, so I just put that as 3 times you coughed. So, then, only for Eric or even for the people?
For other people too.
Alma, there was absolutely nothing I could find. And Nivea, you had like 2 sounds, like just 2. And Joe, you had just 1
Thank you, Beatrice. Good job. Okay, and for my general evaluation, we did start a little bit late today. Again, that's a key that we want to continue to focus on as you know, both for myself and as a group. I do appreciate Adolfo and Jesse were both here early, had everything set up early. We're in the process of training the new incoming officers, so now that Jesse's pretty much squared away as Sergeant at Arms, I'm going to work with Adolfo on the VP Education, get all my files and everything together so that way we can transition to where he's taking care of the agenda. Getting it out earlier than I have been, and I apologize for that. Most of my evaluation is going to relate to myself. Not only get the evaluation out, or the agenda out on time, but then also I was scheduled for a speech, and I always like to give speeches when I have them scheduled, but my book is somewhere with my black folder, so I was unable to get prepared for it. So the lesson for me is have your speech ready someplace where you can access it, like literally email it to myself, and that way I can always pull it up, even if I do misplace some of my materials. Michael, great job on Toastmaster. No surprise, you know, even for your first time, you could walk into any Toastmaster meeting and take over any role at this point and do it seamlessly and be very smooth on it. So, great job on Toastmaster. Eric, thanks for coming in and giving your icebreaker speech. I know that it's not easy to get up in front of a group of adults and a group of professionals in different areas, and also get up in front of your mom and do a speech like that. So. Great job on doing your icebreaker today, and I know that you'll continue to improve there. And also, from a club level, in terms of the evaluation, I think if we continue to follow up with our people, obviously as a lunch club, everybody can't make it every week. But if we continue to follow up with our people, you know, a couple days beforehand, especially the people that have speeches scheduled or have table topics or have the major roles, that way we can make sure we have them nailed down before the meeting starts. But we are on time. We're actually a little bit ahead of schedule, and I do appreciate everyone jumping into different roles and filling in as usual. You guys are always great at that, and it really makes things go so smooth. And even when we have a lot of guests, and even when we have the usual chaos of a lunch meeting, it really makes things go well, and I really appreciate that from my standpoint. So with that, I'd like to return one last time to Michael, so we can give him a good round of applause, a deserved round of applause. Give it back to our Toastmaster, and then he'll turn around.
Yep.
Give it right back to me.
Right, well, I'd like to give back to
But first, a round of applause to Mr. Michael Tan. One of those little protocol things that you always follow, but I always think the recognition is definitely deserved, especially for someone doing it for the first time, and you could never tell from that aspect. Oh, do we have a best table topics ribbon as well?
Yep.
So while Adolfo is tracking that one down, we have for first timer And giving his first speech ever as a Toastmaster, Mr. Eric Wong. And Paul Barrett. Hold on, wait, Eric. Come here. Hold your ribbon up so it can be seen. So you get the banner. Thank you, Eric. Well done. All right. And going home with 2 ribbons today, the coveted and much desired ribbons for not only best table topics, but best evaluator is none other than the renowned Elmer Denosa. That'll be word of the day next week.
I don't know about the renowned word, but
Renowned is it's a British word meaning the estimable and
The ribbons.
all right, thank you.
all right. Thank you. Good job, Elmer. Thank you. Okay, so with that, next week we are going to do, we'll have Chandra Moletti, who is our new Area H governor, now that we've moved from Area E under Krish and Jennifer. We've now moved over to Area H because it fits more with the geographic area that we're in. And Chandra Moletti, who was here a couple weeks ago, was so impressed by us, he actually joined our club. And he is going to be, as our area governor, he is going to preside over our new officer induction, our new member induction next week. So the agenda will be pretty much tied around those 2 things. We'll do a new member induction, a quick vote that we normally do, and then also our new officer induction. And as we transition into the new officer roles, we'll continue to work on getting the people the information they need to be able to fulfill those roles. I'll be working with Adolfo. He will be the new VP Education, and getting everything organized for him so that he has everything he needs to do his job, and continuing to help him with that, because I really think that going into this year, one of the things that we want to do as members is, what do I want to do in 6 months? What do I want to do by the end of the Toastmaster year in June of 2013? Where do I want to be? Do I want to be able to do a speech contest? Do I want to be able to be CC and CL finished? What are my specific goals? What do I want to get better at that I can transition outside of this room and bring to my profession or to my family or to a job interview? Or what can I take away from this that's going to improve me on a daily basis with what I do outside of my Toastmasters meeting? So that's one of the things I want us to think about. What can I take away from this that's going to make me better next year as I progress through the year? Yes, Fiona.
Can I suggest we can have potluck next week? Potluck,
Okay.
yes?
Yes.
Yes, everybody,
Yeah,
yes?
yeah,
Okay.
So next week will be the induction of officers and the new members?
And the induction of new members as well.
Okay.
And we have dignitaries coming, so maybe
Yeah.
we can dress up nicer, and so we
Yeah.
can take a pictures and.
So I know for sure Chandra's going to
Are
be
we
there.
having a regular agenda like speeches and tabletop?
We're only going to have the induction ceremony, because it's going to, that'll take up most of the time as it is. And then starting the week after that, we'll go back to the regular speeches, and I'll be working with Adolfo to put in the schedule and start working it ahead of time so that we can kind of plan ahead for the speeches, especially for people that have a little bit tighter schedule. And that way okay, 2 weeks from now I'm giving speech number 5. I know that's the date for it, and I can get ready for it, and that way we'll be ready to go. So next week it'll just be the induction ceremony. I'll talk to Chandra, and I'll also talk to Harry Yan as far as the timing on it. If we have time for table topics, I would love to do that as well. If we have time to maybe slide a table topic session in. But if not, we'll stick to the inductions and get that taken care of.
I suggest we can have like a mini open house, like invite all your friends and family, so, because we're gonna have food anyway.
Yeah,
We
that's
can
a good
use
idea.
maybe the bigger room.
So you can bring guests?
Yeah,
Yeah, bring all your guests.
yeah. This will be a good introduction, even if we don't
We
necessarily have it.
can have them sign up to join this club too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Even if
We
we don't
need a
necessarily.
base in membership, so
Yeah.
we have a better attendance every meeting.
Yeah, yeah, because I think we want to be like 12, 15
Yeah.
people every week would be a really good number for us, and that way we can rotate through the different roles and also have enough time that people can get through their speeches. Like, know that you don't have to wait a month or 2 months to be able to do your next speech. You got a good rotation into the book and be able to fulfill different roles. So I think that's a great idea. So I think open house is a great idea, and we do a potluck next week, and what we can do is I will send an email out tonight saying tell me what you want to bring, and then we'll kind of.
Can we suggest maybe a committee leader? I would like to suggest, you can follow up like everybody would like to bring in the dessert, the drinks, and things. Can you do that?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so Beatrice volunteered to
I
be.
have a question also. I
Yes.
read Harry's email last week and sort of congratulating Get Club, but then he said it's a select
No,
distinguished.
we are officially presidents.
So I was kind of confused. I mean, what is he talking about?
What he was
We're
talking
president
about
distinguished.
is the Toastmasters website only updates every Friday for the Distinguished Club program, so it updated as of June 29th, and I had put in Michael's CC
Oh, late.
that day, but it didn't
Not updated.
post until, and I actually called Toastmasters and said, hey, I just want to make sure this is the last one that we need for our club. Is it going to be entered? And they said, yeah, you're fine. It just won't update until next week. And then when we went on the website this past Friday, I think it was Friday or Saturday, it does show that we achieved 9 out of 10, so we're officially President's Distinguished. And that's what Harry replied to me as well. He said, you know, wait for the update to post on July 5th. And then,
Yeah, they confirmed that.
yeah.
Okay,
Really?
all right, let's give ourselves a big round.
Yeah. One of the reasons
Yeah,
we
never-
went to the other club too.
Never been done before. They never had a club that had 8
The
months.
history of Toastmasters
Yeah.
throughout the world, I
Yeah,
guess.
in 8 months, they've never had a club that chartered in 8 months that achieved.
He was president distinguished.
Yeah, so it's pretty.
Michael, did you receive your award? Your certificate?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, you should be getting it along with the 2 books as well.
Okay.
So if you don't get it by next week, let me know and I'll follow up with them.
Everybody who received those certificates, please bring it so we can award it in
Yeah,
front of everybody,
Yeah.
our accomplishments.
yeah, I think that's be a good picture showing the CCs and the CLs, and I just got the ACB, and that way you're kind of showing,
I got the seal, yes.
yeah,
You got it.
and that's.
And we
that-
can put them in the frame, nice frame.
Yeah, that's what I like about the agenda, is now we're starting to see all the titles after the names showing their educational achievements. So we will do that next week. Beatrice will follow up with everybody, and I'll make sure that she has, Dolpha and I will make sure that she has everybody's email address. And invite your friends next week. You can utilize this as a chance to do an open house to show, you know, what we are and what we do. And then the week after that, the guests who come this week, say, hey, come next week, you'll see a real meeting in action. You'll be able to see speeches, table topics, and see really what we're all about here.
Can we hear from our guests?
Yeah, Joe, can please tell us what your impression was of the meeting today?
It's very professional talk and very professional and everyone talk is good and also I think it's a good quality of a speech.
Great, well, thank you. Thank you. And Nevaeh?
Like I said last week, everyone has a part in this group, and see, I really like it. I'm kind of leaning towards enjoying. I don't know, maybe I have to come like a little more.
Okay, well, you did a good job. Thank you, Nevaeh. Okay, so with that, if there's no other business, we do have next week's agenda set, the open house, the induction, Beatrice as the chair, and like I said, we'll continue working through the new officer roles and getting everything set. And think about your goals for the next 6 months, or even the next 3 months. What do you want to accomplish not only within Toastmasters, but what do you want to take to transition out into your job, your career, your business, your family. Elmer's given several great speeches on the example of, you know, communication within the family, and Toastmasters can be a very good